This is Corn Dog's Turbo Kit. I'm doing this for Blue. So I figured I'd just give you a video, it'd be easier. I'm going to give you a rundown of what parts that you will be getting if you purchase. I guess we'll start from the left. This is the turbo. I apologize for the shadow and lighting, it's not very good. 1 second. Alright, this is the turbo. It's your basic T3 TO4B I believe it's a Borg Warner turbo. It's the inlet. Spins. There is no shaft play RL. The compressor has been balanced. I will include all the bolts for the rear with washers. This is already bolted to the manifold. Manifold looks in good condition, no cracks, no warping that I found. I put it to a straight edge. Looks pretty nice. It's all cleaned up. The turbo has both inlet and outlet. It has a -4 AN inlet with a restrictor already built in, so you don't need to put an oil restrictor in your oil feed line. It has a -10 AN out, which I do have the line for, which would be this line right here. It has two -10 AN fittings. One would go to the end of the turbo, other goes to the oil pan, which I will include. I just do not have it here currently. It's at my job. Here is all the the charge piping that you would receive. I kind of modified it to how I had my setup at the time. You may have enough or you may not have enough. This should be enough to get you by to fab it up. The best way to do it is, the best way I found, is when you mount the turbo to the engine, angle the compressor down, and then you use, let me see, use this coupler right here, which this goes to the turbo, and this heads towards the passenger side of the vehicle, and it goes straight across and then around the frame, and then it would you would use the silicone ends, and then it would go to the intercooler, and then it wraps back around and then goes up onto the driver's side. It's actually quite easy once you have the car up in the air. It's pretty easy to figure out. The downpipe doesn't look the prettiest, but it gets the job done. Just your normal flange with the blocked off wastegate, the internal wastegate, which this turbo does not have. It has both your main oxygen sensor port and a wideband port. But this thing, once bolted up to the turbo, will sit directly below the oil pan. So what you need welded up or figure out is from here to your stock exhaust, because it goes over a little hump of these frame support, which will have to be made. Also, here's your wastegate. I have included the gaskets for both the one side and the other side. I'm also including a flange. As you can see, it's already bolted to the wastegate. With the wastegate, so you can create a dump pipe, because the wastegate does not go back into the main exhaust. I was going to design it as a dump pipe system. You can pipe it back into the exhaust. There just isn't really a lot of room. Here's the mass airflow 3-inch diameter, I believe it's 8 inches long, MAF adapter. It has a 2002 ZX2 6-wire MAF, as you can see. I believe it is clean. I pulled it out and checked at one point. I did not see any dirt buildup on the wire. This is a bag of miscellaneous stuff that came with the kit when I originally bought it. Just some tubing and looks like a net and some wires and bracketry. I'll just throw that in for free or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Here's your foam mushroom filter, never been used, brand new. Got a hose clamp on there. Random and various vacuum T-fittings. Toss those in there. Here is your -4 AN fitting line. It comes with the 1H in thread adapter to tap into the head. And the other end is just the -4 that goes straight to the turbo end. It's about 4 feet long, which is way overkill, because when I had this hooked up, or I had put it on, it was way too much. So I would recommend getting a shorter one, but I will just give this one for just sakes. I'm also going to include another about 2.5 feet of stainless steel AN line, because the AN lines on this line right here are reusable. You can unscrew this portion right here and pull it back, and then you can just pull the fitting off, and you can reuse the fittings. That's why they use these a lot, is because if they blow out, you can just take the fittings off, get some new line, and make your fitting again. Let's move on. You would also be getting your SCT tuner. It is unlocked. Never been married to an ECU, so that'll set you all up. Let's go to your blow-off valve. It comes with your 2.5-inch pipe adapter, and the blow-off valve is actually a Greddy Type S clone off of eBay. Everyone swears by them, so I didn't see any issue with it. I never got to test it out because I never actually finished installing the turbo kit because I ran into radiator fitment issues. Here is your silicone intake and charge pipe stuff. You have 6 2.5-inch straights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 2, I believe they're written here, 3-inch to 2.5-inch for the mass airflow adapter. You have a 45-degree angle, 2.5-inch. You have a straight 3-inch, which is for the turbo intake, which I do have a 3-foot, 3-inch turbo intake pipe, which was never fabbed, so you will have to fabricate that up to put it in there. You have a 2.5-inch elbow bend. You have a 2-inch to 2.5, which the 2-inch side is for the turbo, the 2.5 is for the charge piping. This is a 275 to 2.5. This is for the intake manifold or the throttle body. The throttle body goes in the 275, and the charge piping comes onto the 2.5. This came with the turbo originally. I believe it's a 2.5 to a 1.5. I have no need for it, so I'm just going to toss it in. I have all T-bolt clamps. I have all T-bolt clamps for all the charge sides, so you should have more than enough T-bolt clamps. Those aren't even all of them. I have more down there. There's about 7 more in that, which are 2.5-inch. The intercooler, which is brand new, never been used. I bought it off of a member on, I believe, an RX-7 forum. But as you can see, there's no bent fins, not really messed up. Still got the caps on it, never took them off. I do have the bolts and washers for them, for the bottom side for mounting. And I believe, oh, and yeah, one last thing. If I can get it open, if I flip it upside down. Oh, don't mind the oxygen dispenser, that's for my wideband. Then I have the Mafia, which is designed to be able to, so you can tune your vehicle with your mass airflow sensor to be a blow-through style system, which means you can have the mass airflow on the charge side of the turbo instead of drawing through it. It's way more accurate that way and makes tuning a lot easier for your tuner, and he'll love you. So I'm also tossing in the other end of the downpipe, which came with it, which I see no use of because the tri-flanges piss me off like no tomorrow. So, I mean, I'll toss them in if you want it. It's all yours. Let me get that out of the way. But yeah, that should be everything. I also have a Honda radiator I picked up off of a member on another forum. It did have some messed up fins right here, but I'm pretty sure you can flatten those back out. That's the only real mess on the thing. The only thing with this, though, is the stock ZX2 radiator has 2 outlets on the bottom of the radiator and 1 inlet up top. This one only has 1 inlet up top, 1 inlet on the bottom, so you would have to figure out which way to tee those in and get everything hooked up that way. And I do not have any slim fans for this setup, because unfortunately, when I was trying to install them, someone stepped on them and destroyed them. So I do not have any slim fans. In this random bag, I have the turbo the turbo gasket, the second wastegate flange gasket. I have a manual boost controller, a vacuum tee, extra bolt, and the bag in here, which is kind of cloudy. Let me get it out real fast. Hold on 1 second. This bag has your 4 42-pound injectors. I'm not sure how new the O-rings are, so I would suggest replacing them. And I would also suggest double checking and making sure everything is clean before you put these in your vehicle. Because if you put these in your vehicle when they are dirty or clogged, it will make your car go lean, and pop goes the head gasket or rod or so forth. So that's pretty much a wrap up. I apologize for the extremely long video, but I'd like to show you everything that you would be getting. Oh yeah, one last thing. Random vacuum hose that I fabbed up for the blow-off valve and wastegate control. But that would be everything. And I would throw in the Honda radiator for an extra $40. No, just $40 flat. And that'll be all. Corn Dog signing off.